Hi everybody, welcome to another Low on Health year-end review. This is part of my Besides Gaming series. This one dealing particularly with the anime I watched in 2009. Once again, I'm going back through my old low1health.com articles and making them into video form. And yes, I do know that the glasses have reflection off light sources, but I don't care. I like wearing my glasses because it doesn't dry out my eyes. Anywho, thank you for putting up with the glasses. Moving on here, my anime for 2009 are... Once again, I didn't watch as much as 2007. Kind of been a decline in watching anime, but whatever. Number one, of course, is going to be Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. This, of course, is the kind of the follow-up to the first Fullmetal Alchemist series, and this Brotherhood basically takes place more in tune with the manga. When they did the first series, the manga was not completed. Now it is. What I really liked about Brotherhood is it still has its dark elements, just like the first one, probably more so, but it gives you a better idea of the full world. You kind of deal with the people in the west and east, and basically everybody all around central. Basically, you kind of get an idea, a better sense of the world and the different kind of inhabitants and ethnic diversity in the world and whatnot. It just has some really good, of course, fight sequences. It's just one of the greatest anime series, period. Full Alchemist is just a solid series, and if I had to pick in between the two, I do like Brotherhood more than the original series, just because it has a fuller picture of the world. But Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood was definitely my anime for 2009, and yes, it kind of seeped over in 2010 when it ended, but I'm going to consider it a 2009 series for me. The next one is Darker Than Black Ryusei no Gemini, which this is, of course, the second season to full Darker Than Black, in which case I was at first kind of put off with this series. I was a big fan of the Darker Than Black universe, in which case this one follows the tale of kind of this little girl, not a little girl, like teenage girl, and her coming to terms with becoming a contractor and learning her price and all that stuff. In which case, the first main character is in it, but he loses his powers very early on in the series, in which case that was kind of also a put off, but he kind of mentors the girl and whatnot, and you still get a kind of a greater sense of that world and coming to terms with being a contractor and all that stuff. But I really much enjoyed it, despite the whole little girl aspect of it too, which I thought I was pleasantly surprised with. The next one, I didn't split up Bleach and Naruto because I do believe this year, that year, I did enjoy Bleach more than Naruto. Bleach's filler arc that dealt with the swords and them having their own personality, I for some reason liked immensely. Also, Bleach also introduced the other crew of people, which I can't remember their names off the top of my head, but like the Hollow / Shinigami people, which I thought was just awesome because they're all stylistic, they all have their own little personality, they're all just badass and cool, and I really enjoyed that immensely. I also want to mention too, like with Bleach, the whole sword filler arc, a lot of the cool stuff happened without Ichigo in the picture, which was interesting, because also with Naruto, a lot of the good fights and the whatnot with Shippuden and moving on didn't have to deal with Naruto whatsoever. He was kind of for the majority of that year, he was kind of put on the back burner, which it was just kind of interesting for both of those two series for me to kind of like them more when their main characters weren't involved, because they have just so rich, full, diverse cast of characters and a world. Next one I want to mention is East of Eden, which of course East of Eden is kind of hard to describe, but it's a very nice little show. I enjoyed it immensely. Kind of a good premise. You have a unlimited amount of money to make Japan a better place. What do you do and whatnot? Well, one of the biggest turnoffs for East of Eden that I didn't like. Oh, it has an awesome kick-ass opening too. East of Eden, by the way, I want to mention that it has the Oasis opening, which is just superb. But what I didn't like about East of Eden was, of course, it had kind of not necessarily a cliffhanger ending, but one of the classic no-end endings. In which case, like, oh, we'll wrap it up in the movies. In which case, I do believe I watched the first movie, in which case it still kept it open-ended, and then I think the second movie isn't out yet, or I haven't watched it yet, but kind of dissuaded by the whole no-ending thing, but a decent series nonetheless. Then we have Shikanabane Hime. Of course, I'm butchering these names. I think that basically roughly translates to Corpse Princess. In which case, this is almost kind of along the lines of Soul Eater 2, where you basically have human weapons, resurrected females who basically fight kind of demon-ish things, and if they kill X amount, their soul gets freed, or yada yada yada. Just a very good, solid series with a kind of a dark undertone of using the humans as weapons and the ethnicality of it, like you just treat them as weapons or you treat them as people and whatnot. And I kind of dug on that. I really much enjoyed it at that point. The next series is going to be Shangri-La, in which case this was just kind of a weird series, once again following the teenage girl and her coming of age and dealing with being a leader of sorts, and you have the bad guy company people, and kind of really weird because they kind of mix the technology with the kind of supernatural to a point. But it started out really strong, but then towards the end it just kind of I want to say kind of fell apart to a point, but a decent little series. I kind of recommend it. Keshin Sins, which of course is kind of a follow-up to the classic Keshin story, in which case I really didn't enjoy it too much. It's very much drawn out. It's more or less about the journey and him just kind of wandering the wastelands and dealing with the people here and there, in which case, in that point, it's pretty good because it shows a lot of despair and just kind of sad undertones of just, coming to terms with your own death and whatnot. And then, of course, number 9, I didn't even watch 10 series that year, which is going to be Melkani of Haruhi, the second season, in which case, this is the one that had the classic endless 8 episodes, where 8 episodes kind of all the same with little nuanced differences because they got stuck in a time loop, which, apparently they were stuck in that time loop for, they repeated that for, 15,000 times. But for some reason, I very much enjoyed the Endless 8 loop because it did with Kyon and him kind of always realizing towards the end of it that it's looping again and he has to do something to change it. And 8 episodes he doesn't, but finally does, so that's kind of cool. I didn't enjoy the end of this season, though, because it dealt with the whole movie-making thing, and I just really hate Haruhi's just overbearingness and controlling people and bossing them around and whatnot. That just definitely rubs me the wrong way. But I definitely enjoyed the Endless 8. But that's kind of all that I watched for 2009. My 2010 will be coming up really soon once I finish watching all the series that I want to watch for 2010. But as always, this is just me putting into form my write-up articles that I did before. That I actually do have a master list of every single anime I watched and kind of a base ranking on them, which I don't know if I'll ever put up here or not. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time.